Minasan konnichiwa und willkommen. And today I'm doing another reading for you guys. But this time it's going to be a reading on Heidi, based on the classic tale by Johanna Spyri. But instead of the Swiss Alps like in the original story by Johanna Spyri, my take on the tale is going to be in the Chicago hood. Let's begin, shall we? Once upon a time, in the western part of the city, lie a sweet, innocent girl named Heidi, wearing a pink dress, has really long pink curly hair, and wears Jordans, and sometimes Yeezys. And she just got done eating at the all-you-can-eat Chinese restaurant, when suddenly her Aunt Maria picked her up in her 1973 Chevrolet Pontiac. You know, "Hi Heidi, this is your Aunt Maria. And I'm about to take you to the eastern part of the city to see your grandfather." So Heidi went along with her Aunt Maria on her 1973 Chevrolet Pontiac to drop her off at her grandfather's in the eastern part of the city. You know, Chicago, where Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times and Gene Siskel from the Chicago Tribune are located. Yep, Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times and Gene Siskel from the Chicago Tribune. And of course, Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, also lives there, in Chicago. So Heidi is greeted by her grandfather, who looks and sounds a lot like Jimmy Stewart from Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. "So you must be Heidi, am I right? Well, I've got some chores for you to do, and I have mine. You take care of the dishes and then cook me up some General Tso's chicken. I got my own business to take care of by watching the football game between the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Come on, Chicago Bears." So Heidi did everything that her grandfather told her to do. You know, wash some dishes and then cook some General Tso's chicken for him. But for Heidi's supper, she actually went all out by cooking herself every bit of cuisine from around the world, like France, Germany, Japan, Mexico, Spain, Italy, the United States, Canada, China, South Korea, India, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Russia, Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Poland, Norway, Finland, Taiwan, Thailand, Portugal, Denmark, Sweden, and Brazil. Everything from Swedish baked goods to Brazilian steak. Later that same night, Heidi was listening to some Black Sabbath while her grandfather was listening to some Slipknot. Then the next morning, Heidi had more chores to do, by cleaning up the tables, doing her grandfather's laundry, and during her half-hour breaks, she did a bit of Taekwondo from South Korea and watched a bit of Orange is the New Black on Netflix in German with Japanese subtitles. While her grandfather was watching The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt in Spanish Latino with Korean subtitles. Heidi, come here. I have something to tell you. Since you've always been really reliable in helping me with everything around the house, I was thinking maybe we should do some road tripping. You know, take you to wherever you like to go. So, the first thing on Heidi's grandfather's list was Heidi and her grandfather going to one of the movie theaters that was playing William Wyler's Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston and Stephen Boyd. Then after that, they went to an all-you-can-eat Japanese-German buffet where they had everything from nigiri sushi to Wiener Schnitzel. And then the next thing they did was go fishing in the Chicago woods. Yep, Heidi and her grandfather went out fishing in the woods. Then after that, Heidi and her grandfather went to see an opera. And the opera that was playing was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's The Marriage of Figaro, or Le Nozze di Figaro in Italiano. You know, Italian. And, of course, Maria Callas, Mario Lanza, Luciano Pavarotti, Jose Carreras, Placido Domingo, and Andrea Bocelli were performing there, along with Marilyn Horne, another well-known opera singer. Even the great Enrico Caruso was performing there, mostly doing his warm-ups with Vesti la Chupa from Leoncavallo's Pagliacci. But then, a few weeks later, an intruder knocked at the door. And that intruder was Fräulein Rottenmeier, coming to collect Heidi. And need I remind you that the Fräulein is portrayed by Jane Seymour from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? Yep, Fräulein Rottenmeier, portrayed by Jane Seymour. Yes, what do you want? I have come to collect Heidi. 'Cause I'm taking her to my crib in the northern part of the city. Don't do this to my loving granddaughter. It's too late, old man. Hand over the girl. So Fräulein Rottenmeier took Heidi away from her grandfather, who, in my take, is named Hideyoshi Takeuchi, who looks and sounds like Jimmy Stewart. So Fräulein Rottenmeier took Heidi to the northern part of the city, in Chicago. And there she was being homeschooled by Fräulein Rottenmeier. And the other kids who were homeschooling were a little Korean girl confined to a wheelchair named Kim Song Lee, along with her two older sisters, the French Gélie Dubois, the Spanish Beatriz Garcia, and her two older brothers, the Italian Giuseppe Fontanella and the German Karl von Schneider. And what Heidi did in Fräulein Rottenmeier's homeschooling were basic homeschooling techniques, like simple math, simple language learning, and among various others. And Kim Song Lee actually speaks a good amount of languages, which are English, Parisian French, French Canadian, German, Japanese, Spanish Latino, Italian, Russian, Arabic, Hebrew, Mandarin, Cantonese, Taiwanese, Korean, Thai, Hindi, Norwegian, Finnish, Danish, Swedish, and Brazilian Portuguese. So Heidi and Kim immediately became really wonderful friends. Alright, the first thing you need to know about math is to focus on the mathematics of the problem. Now, Heidi, what is 3 plus 3? 6? That's right. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Now we do it with multiplication. What is 3 times 3? You, Kim. 9? That is correct. It is number 9. Okay, that should be the end of part 1 of my Heidi reading. Stay tuned for part 2 as I continue the story. And I'll be right back after these messages, so stay tuned. And don't touch that dial.